That is not going to work in Michigan. And so to my friends in Detroit, my friends in Grand Rapids, get working for Mike Rogers. Now I want to welcome my next guest, the House Majority Leader in Kansas, Chris Croft. Leader Croft, welcome. Good to have you here. Are you the Speaker in Kansas, or are you the leader?
No, I'm the Majority Leader.
Okay, what's the breakdown in the two houses in Kansas?
So for the House, you're talking about from Republican and Democrat.
Yeah.
So we have a supermajority in both.
Oh.
And we have in the House we have 88 Republicans and 37 Democrats.
That's a good number. I like that number.
It is a good number.
So I want to talk to you about, everyone is talking about data centers and AI at the ALEC this year. There's always a new issue. School choice is the constant. Taxes are the constant. Bringing business to the state is constant. But the new issue is AI and data centers. How do you frame that for your voters and for your state citizens?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of discussion about it, and I think it's fair that they're having discussions at the local level, and that's kind of the way we set this up, is so that the local folks that have a say in what's going on in their community, rather than the state just arbitrarily blocking it. One of the things as we've gone through this thing, many of them have different aspects, and one of the things that's different for Kansas that no other state has done is that we actually have a national security component to ours, and that is before you can build a data center, you have to list all of your equipment that you're going to have inside of it and give it to our fusion center, which works for the Attorney General. And the Attorney General then reviews all the stuff that's going to be in there and make sure through his network, and these fusion centers have so many connections to things that we don't normally have, and they look for foreign adversary chips, products, or anything else that's in there to make sure we're clean of all of that.
I haven't heard that in any other state.
That is not in any other state. We're the only state that's done that.
Who invented that? Who came up with that idea?
Well, my chief and I, we kind of worked that out with the speaker's chief and the speaker himself, and kind of worked our way through that. But that's how it all started, and he approved it, and we went through it from there.
Keith Croft is the former Undersecretary of State for Clean Technology in Trump 1, and that's what he spent all of his time trying to do, was to clean technology. Huawei was a very familiar name 7 or 8 years ago, and we had to get Huawei out of everything.
That's right.
And we had to go abroad and tell everyone, don't put Huawei in your stuff. It's dirty CCP stuff. So has anyone complied yet? Is that a pilot program?
Yeah, we've actually had 3 that are submitted right now, 1 that's already gone through it and complied with that process. And of course, my chief is, so you know, my chief has also worked at the national level. He worked in the Pentagon on 9/11. He was in there. So very well familiar, actually an undersecretary. And so we have a lot of great conversations, and we talk about a lot of these things in a lot of areas. So not just are we talking about it on the data centers, we've also excluded the drones like many others have done. All of our contracts are restricted from having any kind of involvement with foreign adversary equipment. And so we continue to go down that path, and will continue. We have our bill also, though, restricted businesses from establishing in ours, not just land products. Our legislature in the mid-'80s did a great job of setting the conditions so that foreign adversaries wouldn't come in and buy land in Kansas. So we had very little of that. We do have a couple businesses that do have that, though, with Smithfield and Syngenta and some others. So they're there. But what we did in our bill, instead of removing them like they did in Arkansas, we said, you have to register. You have 3 years to register your business so we know you're there, and now we can watch and see.
I've gone to Kansas a couple of times. I've got a friend there. Okay. How long have you been in the legislature?
I've been there 8 years now.
Okay, so what did you come out of that you have this national security focus? Because I applaud it, and I really think it's great.
Yeah, so it is an interest of mine. I spent 30 years in the Army.
Oh, that tells me everything I need to know. What was your MOS? What were you doing?
So I'm a logistics guy. However, my specialty is strategic maneuver, strategic mobility, transportation at the, from projecting from the United States anywhere in theater or anywhere we need.
So should I be calling you general or colonel?
No, I was a colonel, retired colonel. I'm good with that.
Okay, well, I still call him colonel.
And the nice thing is my chief was a Navy sub-commander. And so we have some
No
great
wonder you guys are serious.
Oh, yeah, we're very serious about this from every aspect of national security.
Why did you end up in Kansas after your military career?
So, well, that was my last assignment. I actually grew up in Orlando, just down the road from here.
Oh.
Went to school at West Orange High School just from here. And then I left from the Army, and I've actually never been back other than to visit my in-laws who live here.
Yeah.
And so as we were looking to retire, we said, where's the place that we've loved the most? And it was Kansas. And we love the people there. The transportation infrastructure there is great. There's hardly any traffic. And people are just so nice.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be.
Where's your district?
So mine's Overland Park and a little bit of Olathe, and so it's southwest of the center part of Kansas City.
Okay, so you're one of the guys who stood up today, or gals who stood up today when I said, hey, would the veterans stand up? Because I met one of your younger soldiers who got wounded. He's in the Indiana legislature. Do you guys have a specific veterans package in Kansas? Do you like exempt disabled veterans from property tax, that sort of thing?
Well, we have that. We haven't gotten it all the way through, right? So there's the discussion, right? So what we're trying to do, and the speakers give me the guidance on this, is 100% disabled doesn't mean you're mobility disabled. So
no, of course not.
So what we're trying to do is take and go after and help the ones that are truly disabled that can't work and do the things. And that's the package we've been trying to push through and get things done. Again, because we're trying to be fiscally responsible in where we go through things. We've done some tax relief programs, but we also have to make sure that we're reducing the spend too. That is a concern.
Well, Kansas got upside down a few
years
ago.
We did, and that's why we're trying to be very, very conservative about what we're doing and be very smart about it.
Have you dug out of that hole?
Oh yeah, we've dug out of it, and yeah, I mean, we didn't do it all by ourselves. I mean, there's a lot of people that will take credit for it, but a lot of this did have to do with COVID money. But what we did smartly was we took the money and didn't put them in one-time spends that created further spends. We did it and maneuvered it in a way that at one point we only had $800 in the savings account, if you will. Now we have $1.9 billion. We've set it at about a 20% rate, which is what we would expect any family to have. And we're doing it that way and maintaining it at that limit.
So I got to ask you, Admiral McRaven's been on the guest number of times.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And so Admiral's most recent book had in that the need for committee of colonels. He said, whenever you have a criticism incoming and you don't know if it's legit, convene a committee of colonels and they will tell you exactly what the truth is. And
that's fair.
He got blistered by his committee of colonels. They said, no, actually the ambassador is right and you are wrong, Admiral. It's in his most recent book. Very interesting to me. How does a colonel do in the legislature? Because that's not really the military world, is it? I'm a civilian, but
Yeah, so actually it's kind of interesting because I was asked that question when I started to run for the majority leader. You know, what experience do I actually have for this? And I was like, well, here's the one thing you don't know. So I ran the Army's Leadership Center.
Oh.
And so in that role, we had a council of colonels, if you will. It was about 120 colonels from all around the country that worked for various organizations that had to hire a boss. And those folks were a part of an ad hoc group that met every quarter to talk about how do we continue to develop leaders better within the military, training programs, all kinds of stuff. And it was my job to lead them to then put together packages that then went forward to the generals and the chief of staff of the Army to make the decisions on how we were going to train our leaders. So I actually think the military completely prepared me for this process. It taught us how to identify the problems first before we come up with solutions.
So is it in Carlisle? Is the leadership school?
So the Leadership Center is the Center for Army Leadership, and it's at Fort Leavenworth.
Okay.
It had an element that was actually at West Point for a while, which was the ethics portion of it. And it has now combined and moved into Fort Leavenworth altogether, and it is done there. They used to have the Army University there, but that's now moved to Carlisle, which is where the War College is.
Are you? We got a minute left.
Yeah, no worries.
And so I'm just curious. Are you happy? Are you surprised that we've hit our recruitment goals, Colonel?
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, I think the refocus back on the blocking and tackling is what everybody really wanted. That's what people go in there for. I think they're doing the right things from a recruiting perspective and having a focus.
Well, I want to thank you, House Majority Leader in Kansas, Chris Croft. Keep coming back. I'm glad you're here at ALEC, and thank you for the 30 years as well. I did marry. I'm a civilian, but I married into a Navy family, so I won't give you the.
Well, I got to say this. At the end, go Army,
go Navy, beat Army. Don't go anywhere, America. I'll be right back.